to the Cathedral of Shadows, where demons gather.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Cathedral of Shadows and Megami Tensei Podcast. I'm Rasen.
I'm Katsu.
And we have not had an episode in a while simply because my computer is being terrible right now. It's still having lots of freezing issues and stuff. I can kind of sort of edit stuff on it. It's just that it freezes up and I need to save very, very frequently. And sometimes it will freeze mid-render, which sucks, but what can you do? So originally, I was just kind of planning on not having a COS episode really up until I got my new computer, which will probably be sometime in mid to late June. I know people that can get me a decent laptop for cheap, so yeah, that'll be nice, and also it'll be an upgrade for my piece of shit laptop that I have now. But enough about me. Basically, there's a lot of news, so we just kind of decided to record this, and there is a bit of, I guess you could call it drama. It's pretty,
Drama in the Megami Tensei community.
Yeah, it's not fun. But I really thought, since I'm kind of involved with it, and I was a major part of this happening, I think I should explain my side of the story and just kind of try and talk to everyone about it. One thing I do want to say, though, is that a lot of people asked me why I'm even talking about this in the first place and why we're not just going to drop it and not mention it on here. I feel kind of morally obligated to let everyone know. I'm not comfortable letting people just stay uneducated about what exactly happened. And I'm not really comfortable with just kind of dropping it altogether because there's still a little bit of residual tension there. And it's a problem that the community needs to address. And we're not going to be able to do that unless we all are on the same page. We all know what happened and we can all move on from there and have mature discussion about it, which is what I'm going to try to do to the best of my capability. So, Katsu, you're really not involved with this at all.
Yeah, because I don't give... No, I'm just kidding. I really don't involve myself in drama these days.
You're a smarter man than I. So, oh man, you really don't go on DDS Net either. Like, you have an account there, but I think you posted once.
Yeah, I posted once and I just kind of stopped.
Yeah, so, yeah, this really is kind of out of your... This is out of your, realm, I guess. This is all
I can apply I can give some very useful advice and commentary, though.
Okay, yeah, I hope so. So, and also, just because people aren't on DDS Net, I still think this is something they should be aware of, because it does affect the outer Megami Tensei community as a whole, and the outer Megami Tensei community did in fact get involved. So, I guess really I'm going to start from the beginning. So I do want to say that, starting this off, I really do not have any real regrets about what I've done since this really happened, except for one thing, and that is my failure to differentiate the two DDS nets that exist. There is one that is a forum and this is what we're talking about. That's the community that we are referring to, and the other one is a website that is kind of like a compendium of information. We've talked about both DDS nets before, and linked to both frequently. And basically, I failed to differentiate, and I think there's a little bit of confusion as to which site was the cause of the issue, or which site was affected by this. So DDS Net, the site, came first and is run by Nostalgic Robot X. People just call him Nost for short. And Nost is a really cool dude. He tried calling in for COS episode 10, and his audio wasn't the greatest, and also like the file got corrupted or something, so like we couldn't have him in. I think I even say at the start of the episode like, oh, Steven called in and we talked about Secrets of the Universe and stuff. Yeah, that was actually him. Like he was pretending to be Steven. And I think he told me later that he was really drunk. We talked about stats for a while. It was a pretty fun time. Nost is a really cool dude. So nothing about his site is involved with this. Nost isn't even really involved. I guess he kind of is, but not really. And basically, this is all about the forum. This isn't about the site. So I want to get into the actual incident itself from my perspective. So basically, this all started this weekend where I was on Twitter, and I follow the admin of the forum DDS Net, whose name is Tuner, and on his Twitter profile is @TunerRazor. So basically, I'm just kind of, I think there's more so in the afternoon, but pretty much what happened is I was surfing around Twitter and I see a very curious tweet that Tuner made. Now, I do want to say that Tuner, despite being the admin of this forum, really he isn't very involved in the actual forum. He lets most of the other moderation staff deal with stuff. So I guess that could lead to just him having not that much followers. So at the time of these tweets, he had 30 followers, me being one of them. And basically, he made a tweet, and I'm assuming this is in response to the entire mass shooting incident and I guess the entire sexism discussion that was ongoing at Twitter this entire weekend and is still occurring today. That very unfortunate incident. Feel bad for everyone that suffered from that. But he tweeted, this was his first tweet, and I saw this one, and he tweeted, "People mad about murder should realize that replacements are being made all day, every day." And that's a pretty shitty thing to say after
That's pretty asshole-ish.
That's pretty bad. Like, I don't think I need to explain why that's bad. At least I hope I don't. But I assumed it was just a joke in poor taste. I assumed he was not really being serious. So I let it go. I was fairly offended by that, but I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to say anything. You know, if he wants to do that, fine, but that's kind of disgusting. So then he tweets a little bit later, also, women being raped is not a new thing. Get over it. What the fuck? You can't say that. So this was when I stepped in because I said, you know what? That's not okay. I don't give a fuck if I get banned from DDS Net for telling them to fuck off, but you can't say that. So basically what I did is I tweeted at him, and let me pull up the tweet real quick just for exact wording. I said I'll have pictures of all of these, by the way, for evidence. Basically what I said though was, okay, how about you shut the fuck up? I was pretty furious at this point. Maybe I could have worded that a little more maturely, but I was, I think I was rightly offended by the fact he was telling people to get over rape. His response was, "You are free to unfollow me," and then I responded with pleasure. Now, from there, I was really upset because this guy is, for better or for worse, a figurehead in the community. Despite not being that active on his own website that he created, he still has the administrative role and power there. So I felt a need to inform people that this happened because, like I said before, he only had 30 followers, and I did not want to risk this going unseen because this is really fucked up. Basically, I tweeted a thing on the COS Twitter, and it said, and I quote, hold on, let me pull that up too, and it read, "COS will no longer be supporting the fan site DDS Net due to the admin's views. Please spread the word." And I had a screen cap of the conversation Tuner and I had on Twitter not that long ago. So this started getting retweeted. As of right now, it's at 34 retweets, 18 favorites. So a lot of people saw this. So after tweeting this, I want to say within 2 minutes, Tuner got on Skype. We've had each other added for a few months now, and he's never really on Skype, but he messaged me basically saying, "You should know I'm not serious," and all this other stuff. And I do know a lot of people are going to ask to see the Skype conversation, but I have a personal moral issue with making a private conversation between two people public without both parties consenting. And I really don't want to make anything from that public. But if I did, I wouldn't be affected by it so much as he would, because I think it would just add more fuel to the fire that this guy kind of created. But basically, I will say this, though, is that a lot of people got this from his public response, and I will say that he also kind of showed this in our private conversation that we were having, IMing back and forth on Skype. He really seemed unapologetic at first and really forceful about what he said and very defensive. And then someone on SMTG posted his tweets. And SMTG...
Oh my god, SMTG. I know where this is going.
So
I think I was kind of there for that. It was I went to the thread and I saw the post. I was just like, God damn it.
okay, so basically what happened is someone posted his tweets on SMTG, and people were starting to get pretty upset. Now, I do want to say that those first two tweets that he made were before anyone had really talked to him. Early on, when me and him were talking personally on Skype, he made two more tweets. The third one being, just to clarify, people should go get over the idea of women being raped. Getting shocked every time it happens won't do any good. And then his fourth tweet was, I hate it as much as any other sane person, but this place won't change the world. Or actually he mistyped. But this place won't change the worlds. So I think mostly he was trying to say people should not be upset or shocked or depressed when these tragedies happen. We should just get over it and move on and blah, blah, blah. But he really didn't seem to take that stance until people started giving him shit. And that's basically what happened on SMTG. He was trying to play PR there, but people weren't having it.
He was doing damage control.
You
can't do damage control on 4chan.
Yeah, so
you can't do that, man.
Okay, so what I do want to say is that I personally am not too keen on SMTG as a community. I kind of avoid 4chan as a whole just because it's not really...
Pretty much the only thing that really goes on in SMTG nowadays is like law. He's like, ha, you're a law fag. Ha, chaos is the only way. No, fuck you guys, neutral.
Yeah,
and it's kind of that back and forth with the occasional different topic and Mastema.
Yeah, like I don't know. I don't really care for SMTG, but like also just kind of what you said there. Like everyone says, oh, you're a law fag, you're a neutral fag. I really don't enjoy that usage of the term. It's just a little... I know it's a 4chan thing, and it's not supposed to be derogatory towards homosexuals, but that kind of bothers me. But that's not the point. Basically, I do want to say is that I am actually pretty happy with how SMTG responded to this. They dealt with it very maturely, and they rightfully gave him shit for some fucked up things that he said on Twitter. And Tuner really wasn't getting much ground there. And basically, as a whole, as the conversation went on, Tuner started getting more apologetic. He started kind of trying to explain what he said more. Basically, he was backpedaling, like the definition of backpedaling. And he
was
really,
up backing.
Yeah, like he was really trying to damage control. But so from there, what happened is, well, I guess the COS tweet got like retweeted to hell and back within a couple hours, and a lot of people saw it. A lot of people were upset on Twitter and talking about the entire thing on Twitter. It was somewhat kind of talked about on DDS Net, but that's where I want to get to, is that Tuner makes a thread on DDS Net basically explaining his tweets, and basically what his post came down to is I'm sorry, but not really. And Ninten, who Katsu, I think you're familiar with Ninten from Twitter.
Of
He's
course I know Nintendo. Anybody who follows Nintendo knows about Nintendo. Even if you don't follow him, you know about Nintendo.
so Ninten's a moderator on DDS Net, and I really like his post in there because he kind of called Tuner out because Tuner really didn't give a true apology. He said, I'm sorry because my tweets were worded poorly." And that's just kind of shitty. Like, first of all, I really don't believe the whole thing. Like, oh, my tweets were worded poorly. Like, it's kind of hard to badly word, oh, hey, you shouldn't care about rape, get over it. Like, that idea as a whole is pretty fucked up because what he tried turning it into is, oh, you shouldn't get upset by it. We should be taking steps to directly help these people. And it's like, dude, you were not saying that before. Get over yourself. Like, you did not
It
start saying that.
seems it seems as if he never understood the consequences of his actions when you post things on the internet.
Yes.
Now he knows the consequences. He ain't going to do shit like that again. I guarantee it.
Well, yeah. But basically, he really was backpedaling, I think, and yeah, like people in that very thread, the forums poster Yahweh and Ninten both were kind of saying, this was really bad on your part, and okay, so but like hold on. About the whole apology thing, he says in the post, and I'll have images of all these. He says, "No real excuses for the poor wording on my end. Hell, no real excuses for the whole thing to either. Did my views change on the matter? No." So he still is holding by what he tweeted. So it just really it really seems like he doesn't he seemed to give the apology because it was expected of him, not because he was truly sorry, and I took issue with that. And then a little bit after that, there was a fairly big change in the DDS Net administration stuff. So the first and important thing is that Tuner basically said he is going to take more of a backseat approach to being admin. He basically said the only reason he is admin in the first place was because Nintendo did not want to make the forum, and it was Tuner was more experienced with the tech stuff with all of that. So Tuner made the actual site, whereas Nintendo just became a mod. Basically, what he ended up saying is that he really isn't that active at all to begin with, and he kind of, I think he's implying that he's really not going to do any admin duties now because moderator Belmont was promoted to a administrator position. So Belmont is now the new DDS Net admin, officially, I guess. And there's a problem with this in that Tuner still owns the site, which means he's still admin by default and can't be removed as an admin. Like, he owns and keeps the site up, which is kind of an issue. But basically, other DDS Net like admin staff changes is that the user Guan stepped down from being a moderator, and Nostalgic Robot X, who we talked about a little bit earlier, he was a moderator as well, and he seemed to have stepped down. I'm not entirely sure if these people just actively stepped down because of what happened, or if they stepped down because of other reasons, or what exactly happened there. There was no real reason given. They just are now regular users. And then Nintendo was promoted from moderator to global moderator, so that's like the position right before being admin. So now we're left with kind of a conundrum with this entire situation, and it's really just a mess all around. One thing that I do want to point out, and I think is kind of depressing, is that I truly thought that he was sorry and that he was going to back off from really getting involved anymore. And then I posted last night on Twitter We're recording a new episode tomorrow, and we'll touch on the DDS Net incident and how, as a community, we should react to the admin shift. To which Tuner responded, "Oh, fuck off. It was not a DDS Net incident."
Yeah,
So,
it was first and
yeah,
foremost.
yeah,
And
it really, okay, so this is what I want to say about that. You're still the admin of the site. You are, like it or not, you are a figurehead for DDS Net. You are the holder of the site. You keep everything up. Like it or not, at that point, you and DDS Net become linked in a way. As an admin, you are in a leadership position. And in any situation where you have a community or fan base or following of any sort that you are somewhat in charge of, even if you aren't active, even if you really aren't there all the time, you still are in that position. Your words reflects that community. Your actions reflect on that community. People are going to link to it. And also, not to mention, even if you were the only one involved, this still makes it a DDS Net incident because the administration changed. Like, I don't know what you want us to call that. Like, the Tuner incident? Sure, I guess, but this affected DDS Net. This affects the entire community. If you didn't want this to be a DDS Net incident, and if you didn't want your actions to be linked back to DDS Net, you shouldn't have taken the responsibility of creating it in the first place.
all right, and I want to give my 2 cents in. All right, Tuner, let me talk to you, man. From one admin to another. Let me talk to you. You need to take responsibility for your actions. From everything you do, whether you like it or not, reflects on how your community looks, and vice versa. If say this didn't happen to you, but if Nintendo was the one who was saying that shit, how that still would reflect on the thoughts and opinions of your community, whether you wanted to or not. And because you're admin, people will expect you to do something about it.
Exactly.
So what you need to do, man, is to take responsibility, own up to what you said, and do something about it. Like, become a better person, I guess. Because if you try to say something like that, just let's say you have a really high profile job and you say some shit like that, your ass is going to get fired really quick.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I really don't think the majority of the community wants to be involved with him at this point. But the unfortunate thing is, since he has the site, since it is his site, even if he decides to leave, he still could come back and use
The stigma is still going to be there regardless if he leaves or not.
Well, not even that, but just like he could come back in at any time and do whatever, like with his admin powers, and we can't do anything about it because it's still technically his site, which is a shame. So, but I do want to say also what rubbed me kind of the wrong way is I will say that even if it was kind of a half-assed apology, it's better than saying nothing on the issue. But even then, I kind of have a problem with him apologizing and making that thread, and then a few hours later saying, "Oh, fuck off" to COS Twitter account. Like, that's, dude, you can't do that. Like, I don't know, man. But so now we're kind of left as a community, the DDS Net community. What do we do about this? And I guess to some extent, what does the outer Megami Tensei community as a whole do about this? And I will say this: my original idea was just everyone get off DDS Net. We can't let this guy have this sort of community. We can't really let him be in power like this. We need to vacate. However, a few people talked to me, and this kind of changed my mind on things. The DDS Net community is a great community. The moderation overall has been wonderful. I think the forum's been up for 6 months now, it says at the bottom, and there's almost never been any people that have been banned, or there's never really been any sort of drama other than this. It's a wonderful community. All of the members there positively contribute to discussion, you can go there and talk about Megami Tensei stuff with other Megami Tensei fans and have a lot of fun. There's a lot of really cool projects on there. It's a great place to find information. All the users there are really friendly and are willing to talk to you and just goof around and talk serious whenever you want. And you can't get that with a lot of online communities. That's special. And I do want to applaud the entire DDS Net admin team for allowing us to have this. And what I kind of came to the realization of is it would be a real tragedy if we lost this community because of one dumbass's terrible decisions. It's not fair to the rest of us. It's not fair to the community at large if Chuner ruins this entire community and just causes everything to fall apart because he was a fucking moron online. It's just not a great situation. However, we do run the risk if we continue going on DDS Net that he could get further involved with things, whether that be using admin powers or just saying things within the community. It's not the best of situations because we basically have this wonderful community under the thumb of one guy that is kind of, I think it's safe to say, untrustworthy at this point. I really don't think we can trust him. I'm not the biggest fan of what he has had to say and how he has responded. Basically, I think the ideal, but this is kind of unrealistic and I get this, is that if we could somehow get the entire community to move to a new site, like make another DDS Net, that would be ideal. However,
DDS Net 2.0 featuring Dante from Devil May Cry.
But here's the thing is I don't know if anyone wants to step up and actually do that, and I don't know if everyone is going to be willing to necessarily move because I mean, even then, like I think it'd be shitty if Ninten or any of the other mods and stuff that are wonderful people and are doing their job kind of lost their position or whatever just because Chuner was a dumbass and we had to move forums or whatever. Like, that's not fair to them either. So, like, there's a few problems with that, but I do think that the ideal is that this community just moves to another outlet where we are out of Chuner's circle of influence. But, like I said, I don't know how realistic that is. If someone wishes to make that happen, I am all on board, and I'd be willing to help in whatever way I can. Okay, so listening back, I kind of want to clarify this point real quick. While I will help out in any way I can, there is something I do want to say, and that is I do not wish to be a moderator or admin of any form of a new community if we make one. Given the situation, I feel like it would be inappropriate if I became any part of the administration of a new community if one is made. Not only that, but also two things. First thing is that I'm already busy with COS and my YouTube stuff, so I already kind of have a lot of my free time sucked up by that. I can't afford to be a moderator or admin of anything right now. And second thing is I personally just think I'm a poor fit for any sort of moderation or administration role because I think I'm overall just kind of a bit too emotionally invested in the community, which I know sounds like a good thing, but in some cases, especially in terms of moderating a community, that can be a bad thing, and I feel like I'd be too biased for my own good, so I think it's just better if I were to stay a regular powerless user for the time being. Anyways, yeah, I just want to clarify that. So, yeah, no administration duties for me or anything. I just think it'd be a shitty thing on my end if I gained any sort of ground or leadership role out of this situation. I just think that'd be fairly irresponsible of me. So, yeah, I just wanted to clarify that, and back to the regular episode. Sorry about that pause, guys. I guess moving off of that, should you or should we as a whole continue going on DDS Net? Originally, I was just thinking, you know what, this is really awkward for me to just even be there in the first place. I should probably leave. But like I said, I don't want Chuner and his stupid decisions and the stupid argument that we have to cut me off from all of the friends and all of the contacts I've made from DDS Net, because I don't think that's not going to solve anything, and that's just kind of a shame that we let one person dictate our community like that, like I've said. So I do think I'm going to continue going on DDS Net. I don't think I'll be as active. I already am not really that active. I'll be the first to admit. But I don't know. I personally, I think it's a individual's choice whether they still want to go or not. Um, I can definitely see a lot of people leaving because of this, but I just think it's a shame because we had such a great community going, and then this happened. Um, but I will say this. I'm not going to be posting COS episodes on there anymore. I just think it'd be really fucking weird if I did. Like, that's awkward. Um,
Awkward.
yeah, like I'll post there, but I'm not going to post COS there. But yeah, basically to wrap it up, should you continue going on DDSnet or not? Your
It's up
call.
to you.
Yeah, you know the story from at least from our perspective. The community itself is great. It's just that Chuner's a shithead. So I don't know, man. Like, it's a really tough call, and I feel like no matter what we do, there's going to be a few people that are going to be sour about it, or there's going to be a few people that feel left out. It's really a messy situation, and it's just not great. Um, I do want to say though that this is an important lesson for a lot of people, I think. If you put yourself in I feel kind of pretentious saying this. If you put yourself in a leadership position or a position like this where you do have a following, like both Katsu and I said, you have to take responsibility for what you say and how it affects your organization. Uh, in the same way that when you say something stupid in real life, it affects your workplace, it affects your school, it affects your family. Your actions and your opinions affect more than just you, and you need
Yeah.
to be aware of that when you express those opinions. I mean, Katsu,
Yeah,
I don't.
especially as you grow older. I'm gonna sound really stupid for saying this, but it's kind of like how in Shin Megami Tensei, your choices you make no longer weigh on you. They affect everyone around you.
I fucking love you. Anyways, anyways, so I do want to say that though is I think that's the major issue here, because if Chuner was just a regular user and he had no influence on the rest of the community, no one would care about this. This wouldn't be drama in the first place. We'd be able to move on. We'd be able to just tell him to fuck off because what he said was stupid. But because he is an admin and he does have that influence and that power and hosts the site, that's the entire reason that this is an issue in the first place. So yeah, I do, going on from here, I do really wish that we figure out what exactly we want to do moving forward. I hope that the entire community is able to strive and live despite this happening. And like I said, if anyone does want to create an alternate site, or if anyone does want to somehow find a way to move the community so that Chuner can't get a handle on it, I will, please contact me because I'd be happy to help in any way I can. And as for Chuner, dude, I thought you were a really nice dude. I'm sorry this had to happen, but I really could not sit by while you defended rape. That's fucked up, and I really hope you understand why I had to do it, but I hope this taught you something. I hope you understand why people are angry with you, and I hope that I hope you learned a lesson from this, is all I really want to close this out with. So yeah, anyways, so I
Moving
guess
on.
yeah, I don't want to talk about this anymore, and I hope I did a good job describing why exactly this went down and everything. Anyways, moving on. So what have you done over the weekend or since we've recorded last?
I've been dying from the heat. Air conditioning was broken in my house, so
Ouch.
I couldn't even sleep on my bed because I'd wake up covered in sweat. I just had to lay on the floor because it's colder on the ground than it is up top.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, while I was doing that, I was also playing Persona 3 Portable, and I personally think Persona 3 Portable is the better port than Persona 4 Golden. That's just my opinion.
Just because they added the female route, or is there more to that?
Well, there's more than just the female route.
Yeah.
It's also they didn't make the battles easier. They still kept the difficulty. Even if you have control over your party members, the battles are still pretty damn difficult.
But I mean, what they did do though is that they did add the very easy mode, right? It's just that the other difficulties are still hard. Whereas Persona 4 Golden, they added very easy mode,
Yeah.
and the rest, like the other difficulties, kind of were made easier as well, which people kind of had an issue with.
And another thing I liked about Persona 3 Portable is, yeah, the female route. Female route is great.
And
Whole brand new social links, all that stuff.
I'm kind of
And
depressed. I voiced this on Twitter. You did not name your main
I-
character Katsune Miku.
I'm not going to do that.
Okay. Katsune Miku is a great name though. Just great name. Anyways, yeah, as for me, I beat the Demi-Fiend. Little known bonus boss that
Yeah.
people may know. Yeah, so fucking that's probably the hardest thing I've ever done video game wise in my life. Holy shit. That was wow. Yeah, beating the Demi-Fiend is definitely not for everyone. That shit requires patience because you can't just be level 99 for that fight. You need to grind for
Yeah, it's not for kids.
Yeah, you need to grind for stat raising items so that some of your stats are rank 99. Holy shit. I spent 33 hours grinding to beat the Demi-Fiend. Uh, and for those of you, I guess, who because we talk about the Demi-Fiend fight a lot and why it's well, we talk about it and it being BS, but I don't know if we properly explain why it's BS. So the Demi-Fiend is the bonus boss of Digital Devil Saga 1. You can only fight him on New Game Plus. He is also the protagonist of Nocturne. But basically, you end up going through it's a really weird place for the fight, actually. It's a random door in the second dungeon in the game. And, like,
It's really strange.
it is. And it's just, you get warped to this Amala network looking place, and you fight the Demi-Fiend, and he always has two demons summoned by his side. Now, what's interesting about the fight is that if you have any resistances, well, if you nullify or absorb or reflect anything, he will automatically kill you with a skill called Gaia Rage, which does over 999 damage, and that instantly kills you because 999 is your maximum, like the maximum health you can get in the game.
HP.
Yep. So basically, Demi-Fiend has really hard-hitting attacks. He often crits, and his entire party gets 4 turns in a row, but they're probably going to be going more often because of like critical hits and stuff.
You know, weaknesses and crits.
Yeah, and weaknesses too. Since you can't really cover those up, you're gonna have a tough time. I mean, technically, you can cover up your weaknesses with a resist skill, but that's kind of a pain in the ass because then you lose a skill slot, and you definitely need like the best skills in the game
Yeah.
in order to
You need
win.
those slots.
Yeah, you're gonna need the slots, so you might as well just take the hits. But basically, what's bullshit about the fight is that Demi-Fiend has a shit ton of HP and he has really high defense stats, so you generally do like 500 to 1,000 damage normally, and he has about 17,000 HP, I think. However, once he gets to half health, one of his demons will cast Media Rahan, which will heal him fully back to full health, which is not fun. And then also, there's a thing where after you kill one of his demons, his pixie that he summons will cast a spell called Dormina, which, as you may know, puts party members to sleep. And then after
Yeah,
that,
Demi-Fiend's waifu.
yeah, Demi-Fiend's waifu, the pixie. But then after she casts Dormina, on the next turn, Demi-Fiend will use Gaia Rage again, which, as I said before, will just instantly kill you. It has a 100% hit rate, if I'm not mistaken. So most people are like, oh fuck, how do I do this? Because he just will use that spell after I kill his first demon off. So then your immediate reaction might be, well, then don't kill off his demons, just focus on him. However, you can't do that because if he has a demon that is alive after 30 turns, the demon will kill itself to heal the other two members of the party. And that, I mean, fully heal. Like, the Demi-Fiend will just get automatically fully restored HP. So you can't just focus on the Demi-Fiend. So here's what you need to do. You need to equip a skill called Null Sleep. And some people theorize the only reason this skill exists is for this one fight. Like, the developers put it in just for this. So you need to equip a skill called Null Sleep on at least one of your characters. Have them get hit by Dormina. And then when they're hit by Gaia Rage, they won't take any damage. Because what Null Sleep does, if I forgot to explain earlier, basically you cannot take any damage or die whatsoever when you're asleep. So you need to purposefully fall asleep and then survive the attack because of Null Sleep. And then from there you can heal and restore your party and blah blah blah. However, this process repeats after you kill 2 more demons. So you need to continue doing the process, and it's a very long, drawn-out process that can take anywhere from 40 minutes to an hour, and it's just a really fucking tough fight. So what I did is I did the second strategy, which is called the Red Star method, and what it comes down to is you need to kill his first 2 demons, which means you need to survive Gaia Rage once, and then from there he has a pixie out and I forget the name of the other demon. I think it's Arahabaki or something. But he has these 2 demons out. What you basically need to do from there is cast Debilitate and any buff spell. And what will happen is his demons will waste their turns using Dekunda and Dikaja to undo the buffs and debuffs. While the Demi-Fiend will still get turns in, so you still need to be healing. But basically, if you do this enough, his pixie will run out of MP, which means she can't cast Dekunda at all, and she also cannot cast Media Rahan because she has no MP at all. So what you do from there is you continue buffing every turn so that his Arahabaki wastes turns debuffing you. But from this point on, you can debuff Demi-Fiend fully, just keep using Debilitate on him until he's just fully like
crippled.
And then from there you can just wail on him. So you need to do about 17,000 HP worth of damage as fast as possible before something fucks up. And that's basically the strategy I did, and I have it recorded. You can see it on my channel. I'll probably link to it below. I was like so happy when he finally died. Holy shit. Like I never, like, usually when you beat a boss in a video game, you kind of just feel like happy or like a little bit of like relief, you know that feel? I actually felt like pride in beating the Demi-Fiend, and then I just kind of took a step back and like, it's just, I wasted 33 hours of my life on a video game, like, that's nothing to be excited about, but I still feel kind of happy about it. So, yeah. Who's the Digital Devil Saga fan now, Katsu?
Me.
Oh, okay. Did you ever beat the Demi-Fiend? No, well, no, you didn't. I know that answer.
Yeah, I'm gonna beat him on. I'm gonna beat him on stream though.
Oh shit. Okay, you want to talk about that?
Streaming? Yeah. When I get the streaming soon, I'm gonna download Digital Devil Saga 1 and 2. Once 2, I'm gonna download them both once 2 comes out, and then I'm gonna stream some Digital Devil Saga. I'm gonna fight the Demi-Fiend live.
Oh fuck. I'll be coaching you.
Coaching?
Yes. Okay. So yeah. So Katsu soon will be able to live stream, which will be awesome. And I may be able to as well, just PC games and emulated stuff, because my internet is good enough to stream. It's just that my computer fucking sucks, like the one that's kind of semi-broken right now. So once I get a new computer, I imagine it'll be strong enough to stream, because mine can stream. It's just like a really low frame rate, and I think like my new laptop should be able to stream emulated stuff just fine. You have the opposite problem, where your computer is more than powerful enough. It's just that your internet sucks. So
yeah.
So once you get that good internet in a little while, you're gonna start streaming. So yeah, that'll be fun. Man, what else happened? I guess I started Digital Devil Saga 2, and it's good so far. But I guess moving on to Other Mega 10 news. Holy shit, it took us a while to get here. Devil Survivor 2 dub came out.
Yeah, and I've heard it's garbage
It's pretty
because
bad. Oh my god, it's so fucking bad. Daichi sounds like he's a chain smoker. Anyways, carry on.
yeah, for those of you who don't know about anime dubs, because you're probably sub-master race Japanese voices are the best. Her. Because the United States is so huge, we have multiple dubbing companies across the country, which are but not limited to. Let's see, Bang Zoom, Aniplex, Sentai Filmworks, Funimation, and there's these guys in New York who do the Pokemon dubs. I don't really know what they're called. But anyway, guys who did Devil Survivor 2 were Sentai Filmworks. They also did the Persona 4 anime, but they outsourced that dub to Bang Zoom. That's why guys like Johnny Young Bosch and Yuri Lowenthal and all of them appeared in the anime. So Devil Survivor 2 was done in-house with Sentai Filmworks as dubbers, and boy.
Oh god, it's so bad. Like, do you know anyone? Does anyone from the cast stand out to you? Like, do you know them? Like,
I don't know them because I don't listen to Sentai dubs. They're mostly pretty bad, and
yeah, I can see why. Like, shit. Oh my god, it's so bad.
I can't even remember. I can't remember if they've even had like that one anime dub that just broke out and like was so amazing that everyone loved it. I really can't remember.
They all
Even
sound
guys
like they're 40.
Even Funimation had dubs that people just fell in love with, like Full Metal Alchemist and
That was a good
to an
dub.
extent Darker Than Black. Like,
Oh man.
and of course Dragon Ball Z.
Never forget.
Never forget Dragon Ball Z. And Aniplex has their pretty good dubs. I mean, Gurren Lagann, that's
a great one.
yeah, Gurren Lagann. What else have they done in the past? Cowboy Bebop, that was them. So, and they also did Fooly Cooly too. And yeah, those are like the three big ones that they've done that stand out to people. And meanwhile, Sentai doesn't really have anything.
Yeah. Like, oh my god, it's super bad. Like, I can't believe. This is the other thing too. It's being streamed. Okay, so the DVD and Blu-ray, or it might just be a Blu-ray, I'm not even sure, is coming out in July. I want to say on the 12th for $60, which you and I were talking about before recording. That's actually not too bad of a price. It's just that Devil Survivor 2 fucking sucks. So like that's kind of a bad.
Sucks. So it's a bad price.
Like even without the dub, the anime itself isn't that great. So like,
and
but
we
like,
don't even know it. We don't even know if it's going to be dub only or if it's going to be dual audio, because you know how Atlus Japan was when it came to the Persona 4
like
anime.
but $60 for 12 episodes.
Or 12 episodes of a subpar anime.
Like yeah, but I mean speaking, like 12 episodes for $60 is somewhat reasonable, I guess. Like I wish it was cheaper, but yeah. But just the fact that Devil Survivor 2 sucks and now an even shittier dub is like done over it, like
yeah.
like I can't justify that purchase even for like a joke or even as a Devil Survivor 2 fan. It's like, no, I can't do that.
I can't do that, man.
Yeah.
It feels bad, man.
It feels really bad, man.
Like the Persona 4 anime dub was like $40. Come to think of it.
That's not too bad. Was it for every episode?
It was 12. The first season 12 episodes was 40, and then the second season was another 40.
Okay, I don't think that's too bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Okay, so moving on, we got Europe news.
Yeah, Europe's getting fucked over again. Persona 4 Arena's off PSN.
Atlus is taking. I've heard.
Yeah, Atlus requested that it be taken down because they want to handle European digital distribution from now on.
Which means that I think they said that they're actually going to try getting it back up as fast as possible. So
yeah,
basically, what it seems like is they want to get rid of all their old like distribution stuff and then move it all over to Sega's distribution stuff with that, which makes sense. Like,
yeah.
the only thing about
seems like It seems like now that Atlus is its own company again, they can finally have some more breathing room to do what they want.
Yeah, like I think the only thing that's kind of shitty about this is we had no warning about it. 'Cause, like,
Yeah, it kind of just it went off without warning.
yeah, people just like saw. Like no one really came out and said, "Hey guys, we're moving. Like it'll be back up. Don't worry about it." Like it just seemed like it was going to be gone and gone for good.
Yeah, sure you can have to reach out to the Zen United PR about what happened, and
Yeah.
he's the one who broke the news.
So yeah, so Persona 4 Arena, I'm not sure if it's going to be back up like next week or when it's going to be back up, but it should be back up digitally in Europe sometime soon. But
Yeah.
other Europe news, this is kind of exciting. Finally, some word on SMT4 in Europe. Finally,
Yeah, it's being worked on.
it's been a fucking year.
Uh,
Yeah,
News came
apparently,
out from Nintendo of France.
yeah,
Apparently, they alerted that Nintendo of Europe is working hard on the localization of SMT4.
they basically made it sound like, hey, we're translating it to French right now, and from what it sounded like, they were kind of saying we're translating it into a lot of different languages. It takes time, guys. So
It's going to be multi 5.
yeah, so which is awesome because
Yeah, multi
okay,
5.
if SMT4 came out in Europe and it wasn't like multilingual, that would be really bad. Like it's like
Yeah, that would be pretty terrible.
so they seem to be really hard at work on it. And to be completely honest, SMT4 is kind of it's a big game.
Text heavy.
Yeah, it's a big game, a lot of
Yeah.
text, a lot of battle stuff with that. That's probably
The
a
fact that
nightmare.
North American localization came out so fast was
Yeah, like
the
that
surprising part.
that was a shock to everyone, especially just like even with like other 3DS games that they came out with, like Soul Hackers. We had to wait quite a while for Soul Hackers to get over to North America, and then with SMT4, it was like
Yeah, but then it got 2 months. Two
yeah,
months after it came out in Japan, they announced it, and then that summer it came out.
yeah, like it was really fast. Um, so yeah, yay Europe,
Yeah, Europe.
stuff will finally come over.
Reach your shores.
Yeah, hopefully this is, I think everyone's kind of hoping that ideally this is the first real step in kind of the
Atlas European relations
yeah,
dilemma.
like this I think people are hoping that this news is kind of going to be the light at the end of the tunnel, like hey, maybe finally Europe will have Atlus stuff sooner. It really seems like though the more I read into this, the more I have a feeling that it's not Atlus themselves that is to blame with the translation so much as Nintendo of Europe, because it really seems like Atlus's hands are tied with the whole thing because they can't really go out and say, "Oh yeah, Nintendo's taking forever to do it, like to come out with it." Like
Yeah, they can't go out and say stuff like that.
you can't say that. That's just not good. But
Yeah.
then but Nintendo of Europe is see the problem is to some extent a lot of people don't they don't there really doesn't seem to be information on who exactly is doing all of the publishing and stuff like that. Like it
When it comes
really
to like localization processes, the company that wants to do the localization has to reach out to the Japanese publisher, Japanese developers. Then the Japanese developers need to get the code, like they need to get the raw game format to the localizers so they can rip it apart, localize everything, then put it back in and then ship it out.
it seems like it really seems like a mess.
Yeah.
And I see because nobody knows. I really think a large issue is nobody really seems to know who's doing what and who's responsible for what process and stuff. So like nobody really
I
knows at
think,
this point
and
if
I also
Atlus or
think a
Nintendo
lot
is to
of
blame.
Yeah. I also think a lot of the problem comes from the disconnect between Atlas Japan and the rest of the world. Because I know you've noticed it too. There's a bit of a disconnect between Atlas HQ and America and
Yeah,
Europe, even though even though they had a lot of success in the West, I still feel like there's this glaring disconnect. Like they don't really know what's going on over here.
I really feel like it's a thing like, oh hey, like they look at the raw numbers and it's like, oh hey, shit's selling over there. Okay, then
Yeah, they look at the raw numbers and then they just pump out a game.
yeah, like, oh hey, we're Atlus USA seems to be doing a good job. Keep up the good work. We'll keep making shit over here, then sending it to you. Like that seems to
and then they look over at Europe and like, oh look at these sales figures. Nah.
like that, or also just because I look at what John Harden says on Twitter and on Reddit, and every time he's bothered about this, he really seems to have this demeanor of we're trying our hardest, but it's complicated. And the only way I can there are two theories that I've heard that I can really think of. I think Ninten actually proposed this. Speaking of him, he was wondering if maybe there was like a game-breaking bug with just bringing it over to the PAL countries or something. There was something that
the PAL coding
or something like that, like something with like moving it over to the European countries was causing an issue with the game, like a big technical hurdle that they had to overcome. And the second theory that I've heard, which I was just talking about earlier, is that Nintendo is more responsible for it than Atlus is. So Atlus is just kind of twiddling their thumbs waiting and getting shit from everyone, but Nintendo's actually being slow on it. So we don't know yet, and also
it's especially confusing considering how Atlus's stance on game distribution has suddenly changed.
What do you mean by that? Like
publishing, like Atlus is starting to publish titles in Europe now, like
yeah.
self-publishing in Europe all of a sudden. So that adds more to the confusion. I know when Atlus was like, "Hey, we're bringing Conception 2 to Europe," a lot of people were like, "You guys could bring that to Europe. Why not SMT4?"
Yeah, so the whole thing's a mess, and I do want to say is we're not pinning the blame solely on Nintendo. It's just that could be
and we're not putting the blame on Atlus either. We're just throwing out theories
because no one knows at this point, and we're not going to know for a while. Like,
yeah, not until the game is out and the people involved feel comfortable enough to talk about it.
It could be that everyone is to blame at the end of the day. We don't know, but hopefully that situation is going to improve. And I mean, this is the first positive news we've had on the subject since the announcement, pretty much. So that's good stuff. Moving on to more news is that Ken and Koromaru are coming to Persona 4 Ultimax.
Yeah, those guys that everyone hate. Well, everyone hated Ken, but then they saw how he turned out 2 years later. It's like, man, fuck Ken. And then all of a sudden, I want to fuck Ken. It's like, come on, fan base, make up your damn minds. I saw that all over Tumblr when I was looking up how the fan base reacted to his reveal, and then everyone was like, "Oh my god, Ken is so hot!" I'm just sitting here like, ugh. Persona fans, please. I thought you all hated this man.
Oh my god, yeah. To be completely honest, I never really hated Ken as a character ever.
I never hated Ken either. I just didn't use him in battle because he wasn't that strong.
Same here. I used him in the answer, and that was about it.
Pretty good in the answer, actually.
Yeah, that's why I used him. Just like I'm like, what the fuck happened between like the journey and the answer? Why are you so much better? But yeah, but also I do want to say Ken and Koromaru are one character. And people immediately thought, oh, Koromaru is going to be Ken's persona. No, Ken and Koromaru both have their personas. It's
Ken has Kalanemi, Koromaru has Cerberus.
So it's like 4 characters in one.
Yeah, 4 characters in one. Koromaru has a special Doge meter. Ken has a special Doge meter for Koromaru. And it seems like the Doge meter doesn't go down when Koromaru attacks, so it feels like it's gonna work like the character Carl from Blaze Blue, where you have to actually hit Koromaru for the meter to go down, or it just might be because it was just screen stills and they haven't really done anything yet. Because I noticed the timer was set to 60, so it might just be the case that it's just a screenshot. That
really closes out the Persona 3 cast of people that can like canonically be there without bullshit, right? Well, wait, no,
there's Theodore too. He showed up in story mode.
People were saying, and then there's Fuka. I meant playable party members. Sorry.
Party members, yeah.
Like Fuka's the last one that's like, oh, they could be there. Like,
Yeah,
so.
if we could get a battle mode like Reset. But yeah, without it being bullshit, those are the only few. Those are it. That's it for the Persona characters.
Can
This
I
is
do?
really turning out.
Can I
This is
say
really.
that? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, go. You go ahead.
I do want to say that I wouldn't actually mind just for the sake of having a fun fighting game with a like decent cast and like large playable characters to choose from if they did pull bullshit to get two certain people that I don't necessarily want to spoil like back. Like I would
It
be
could
totally
just
down.
be from an alternate universe.
Yeah, they could pull some bullshit and I wouldn't mind
Like
because fuck
that
it, it's a
guy. That
fighting
guy could
game.
be from the alternate universe where
That didn't happen. Yeah. Like
Well, yeah, he. Yeah, that didn't happen. Yeah.
like it they could like they could pull bullshit. I won't mind because fuck it, it's a fighting game, guys. Stop taking the story
Fighting
so
game bullshit
seriously.
happens.
Yeah, fighting game
Bullshit
bullshit.
happens.
Yeah, okay. If anyone has a problem with BS reasons being like put in the plots of Mega 10 games, go fucking look at Street Fighter and all the bullshit there, and you
Yeah, look at
will.
all the bullshit in Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat especially. They're
Mortal
like the
Kombat's really bad.
the king of bullshit mountain when it comes to story mode.
My favorite thing though is like it's the most meta thing ever is that Mortal Kombat like the recent Mortal Kombat. Well, I guess it's not recent, but like
The recent like Mortal Kombat 8, everyone fucking dies, comes back to life, and dies again.
well, like there's the Mortal Kombat reboot, like the most recent one. I think it's MK9 technically. Like they basically had this thing like, yo, everything went to shit. We're gonna reboot the universe. It's like, what the fuck? This came out of nowhere, but it
I
worked.
feel like they're gonna reboot the universe again when Mortal Kombat 10 comes out.
It would be awesome. Like, oh man, but
Blaze Blue is also really shitty with this story. It's full of convoluted time travel and people who are supposed to be dead coming to life because time travel and holes in the space time continuum and all this other crazy shit. Like apparently the main character Ragnar went back in time, became the hero that he himself took his name from. It's complicated.
my friend, my actually no, my group of friends rather, it took them an hour to explain why every I think I still don't get it. Like apparently in the first BlazBlue game, every ending in that game is canon because of time travel. Do I have that
Yeah.
right? Yeah. It
Yeah.
took me an hour for them to explain that. I'm like, okay, I'm never paying attention to this story. Holy shit, it's complicated.
Yeah, it's very complicated.
Oh man, I guess we should move on to other information, new stuff.
Ah, yes. Persona Q.
It's coming out like in 10 days or
10,
so.
yeah, in 10 days, Persona Q is coming out. And yeah, Atlus USA is going to be at E3 this year.
Oh, maybe,
And
yeah. So maybe something could be shown there, or with Break Record, or possibly with SMT Cross Fire Emblem, because Atlus's booth and Nintendo's booth are right next to each other.
yeah, so we might get some news on SMT Cross Fire Emblem. We might get a Persona Q trailer in English. We might also get an Ultimate. We might also get a playable build of Ultimax. I know they did that last year at E3. They had a playable build of Persona 4 Arena, and a whole bunch of people took cam footage of the game and all that good stuff.
I think
That's how that's how a lot of us knew most of the dub was coming back.
I think it's interesting to see Atlus's like relationship with like the big three in terms of well, I guess just technically Sony and Nintendo in terms of handhelds, because I, I've been kind of thinking this over, and I've started to hear more and more people say that apparently the Eternal Punishment portable version
Yeah,
was like really badly coded, and like they had a lot of issue getting it to work properly on PSP. And also we've heard that before with Devil Summoner 1, the PSP version of
yeah.
that. So I almost wonder if the reason that like maybe part of the reason that Atlus has been so like pro 3DS or was until I mean because it was very obvious they were favoring the 3DS for quite a while because SMT4, Devil Survivor overclocked, Soul Hackers, all that, and then
Yeah.
the Vita only had Persona 4 Golden. It really wasn't until they merged with Sega that they announced Dancing All Night, so they're kind of showing some more Vita support. I almost wonder if maybe.
Maybe I'm starting to think that maybe the PSP was just harder to program from Atlus.
Well, yeah, it seems like they had a lot of issue there with getting games to just run decently on the PSP. I almost wonder if because everyone knows that the 3DS was doing a lot better than the Vita. But I almost wonder if maybe from a development perspective, Atlus said, "Hey, we tried out the PSP thing, didn't work so hot. Maybe we should go 3DS for a little while, wait out and see what we can do with the Vita, and make sure we don't put out like crappily made games." So that'd be really interesting to see. Like maybe if one day they'll come out and say that, but I kind of doubt that because
Yeah.
it looks like they're trying to
seems-
support the Vita more, which is nice.
Yeah, it seems like they're having an easier time programming with the Vita than they did with PSP.
Hmm.
Because even with Persona 3 Portable, they had to take out a lot of stuff for that game.
Yeah.
The overworld was gone. It was reduced to like a visual novel-esque navigation system, and there was obviously no
like
fast art.
apparently Devil
Yeah.
Summoner and Eternal like Punishment though, like they have frame rate drops, and it's like that's kind of bad for like an RPG that's old, you know? Like
Sucks. Yeah.
that kind of sucks. So, man, it'll be interesting seeing how they continue to support the handhelds and whatnot. Like everyone kind of knows at this point, Persona's almost always going to be on PlayStation
Sony.
3.
Yeah.
And then or yeah, just Sony in general. Persona's almost always like, you know, where
Yeah, Persona
Atlus-
Q is the only one where it was on 3DS.
Yeah, that's kind of the black sheep. But then yeah, like almost all the other SMT stuff recently has been on Nintendo stuff. So, yeah. But who knows with that, and it'll be interesting to see in the future where all that lands. So then, this is kind of minor news, but we thought it was some fun to talk about. Atlus USA staff has been streaming Persona 4 Arena matches and them dicking around and playing the game.
Yeah, they've been trying to get back into the swing of things for whatever reason. Maybe they're trying to beef up for that Evo side tournament that's coming up.
Yo, they're a lot better than I am. Like they'd kick any of them that I've seen play on live stream would kick my ass so hard. Like they're decent at that. Like
Yeah, they've when the game first came out, they were participating in tournaments. They stopped recently, but they're trying to get back into it.
yeah, that's really cool. And also just like the whole live stream thing, they kind of like talk to the chat and stuff, and it's a good time. I've hopped in every once in a while, and I think you have too, and just you know,
Yeah.
talked with everyone in the stream chat, and I don't know, it's just a really fun time. So if you ever see Atlus USA streaming on Twitch, like just hop in and talk to people. Like all those people on that like stream chat are the nicest people ever, and of course the Atlus USA guys are cool as well. So yeah, that's a thing that happened. Um, multiple times I should add. I think they seem to be doing it almost like weekly or so, or just whenever. Like there's no real set schedule, but every once in a while they'll tweet out, "Hey, we're gonna start streaming." And
There's no. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's a set schedule. They're probably just training so they can get back into shape. From what it looks like.
see, I really
Because
like.
Ultimax is coming out soon, and they want to do a bunch of events for it. They've been putting in pot bonuses at tournaments for Persona 4 Arena, so it definitely seems like they're trying to get back into the competitive swing of things.
Atlus USA gave Bionoka Midnight like copies of Persona 4 Arena, didn't they?
Yeah, they gave us like 6 copies to give out to people.
Yeah, like their fighting game branch or whatever, like whoever's up to that, they know what they're doing. They're really involved with that community, so that's
Yeah,
really cool.
they're definitely no strangers. They brought KOF over, and they've been very supportive
Yeah.
to the KOF community, especially with the net play problems that they've had at launch. Atlus, they reached out to the developers SNK Playmore, and the two of them worked together to create a series of patches for the net play. So they really do show support when it comes to their games.
And then yeah, I think that's all we really had to talk about. No emails just because this was kind of a longer
Yeah,
discussion.
this is definitely a longer episode.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and not talk about drama stuff unless it is particularly important or vital to on here after this because I didn't feel very I don't like being involved with drama crap like this, and I really hope that this situation blows over and all that. And I'm sorry if this was kind of a bummer episode towards the beginning there. I hope the latter half kind of filled up
Brighten
for
up.
that. Yeah. I just hope this situation clears up as soon as possible. But everyone be nice to each other, and hopefully as a community we can all come together and talk and enjoy Megami Tensei. So thanks, guys.
Yep.
I don't know when we're going to be recording the next episode because computer is still being a stupid piece of crap. Yeah, thanks, everyone.
Later.
Take some from the wrong. This love